Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So if you've been following the show for a while, you'll recognize the name Frank Artiles. If not, just real quick, he's the former Florida legislator who was recently arrested for violating campaign finance laws after they discovered that he paid a man named Alex Rodriguez nearly $50,000 to run as a fake Democrat in last year's election. And they've admitted that this was to siphon votes away from the real Democrat in the race and to hand the win to Trump sycophant and traitor to her race, Ileana Garcia. Well, Artiles is asking the court to keep his phone records as well as his emails and text messages sealed. Here's why. The Orlando Sentinel and other news outlets have requested copies of his communication records, and this is legal to do in the state of Florida. They have open records laws. They want these documents, of course, because they want to find out if anyone else was involved, if someone else may have used Artiles as the straw man for the money and just funneled the money through his accounts, because his payments to Rodriguez are well documented, but was Artiles so serious and so invested in beating Democrats that he forked over nearly $50,000 of his own personal money? That's kind of hard to believe. That's a stretch, right? I mean, it could be, but I doubt it. So his attorneys are arguing that releasing his private communications poses a threat to his right to receive a fair trial. They say that it could taint a jury. And then they also claim, which I think is BS, they don't give a damn about this, but they're saying it could infringe on the privacy rights of other parties who aren't involved in the case. So it sure sounds like there's some incriminating evidence in his communications, and they don't want the public to see it because it would be probably pretty easy for us to figure out who's behind all this, who actually paid for it and who wanted it. Here's what we know so far, or at least what prosecutors allege in regard to the payments from Artiles. So he did make some direct payments to Rodriguez, but he also paid him through other means to kind of keep it on the down low. He had credit card statements that purportedly show that Artiles paid the private school tuition for Rodriguez's children. That's one way he funneled the money to him, allegedly. And I say allegedly, but Rodriguez has already copped to all of this. He's already admitted to everything, and he's working with the prosecutors against Artiles at this point. Another way that Artiles paid him was by making his rent payments. In fact, he literally paid $2,400 directly to Rodriguez's landlord one month. Now, if you've been following the show and the story, you also know that there's two other Florida candidates who ran identical campaigns to Rodriguez, if you can even call it running a campaign, because as I've mentioned, they hid from the press. They filed their paperwork for their candidacies, and then they literally hid out. All three were backed by the same dark money group. All three had mailers that were identical with exception of their names, and they were all paid for by that same dark money group. They were all Republicans prior to filing to run, and then when they decided to do that, they switched their political affiliation to no party preference or independent. Two of the three that we know of at least were deep in financial debt. We may find out that the third is also, there's not a lot of information on that third candidate yet. And none of them did any campaigning. They did absolutely zero campaigning. They made no effort to raise donations. One I've mentioned in detail on the show, it's Justine Iannotti. She's the Florida native who literally picked up and moved to Sweden just out of the blue after this Artiles investigation was announced and started getting hot. Not suspicious at all, right? The third of the three, is an 81-year-old man named Celso Alfonso. So he's the one that there's not a lot of reporting on at this point, but we do know he named his wife as his campaign treasurer, And when reporters went to his house, he lied. When they knocked on the door, he answered the door and he denied that he was him. He said, no, I'm not Celso Alfonso. No, he's not here right now, or something like that. It's the same thing that Rodriguez did initially. Seems totally normal for a political candidate, right? Just pretend you're someone else to not want any press. Yeah, these people aren't suspicious at all. And guess what? No, you'll never guess. I'll just tell you. So as far as we know right now, there are no investigations underway into these other two shill candidates. The state attorney said that if they're presented with evidence of a crime, they'll open an investigation, but they don't probe potential crimes. Seriously? So you're saying if you thought someone was dealing drugs, you wouldn't even do a cursory, investigation. You wouldn't drive by. You wouldn't maybe have someone check it out? Really? Okay. Yeah. That's what we pay these people for, apparently. That's what our tax dollars are going towards. Either this state attorney is an idiot or he's a Retrumplican. So we'll see. Or I guess that's kind of redundant. Anyway, all right, I'll keep you guys posted on this. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.